Practical Vedanta Lectures of Swami Vivekananda from the second volume of Complete Works of Swami Vivekananda. First lecture delivered in London on 10th November 1896. Swamiji starts by mentioning that Vedanta must be practical religion and the fictitious division between religion and life of the world must vanish. He says, Vedanta teaches oneness, one life throughout. The ideals of religion must cover the whole field of life. They must enter into all our thoughts and more into practice. Then he cites the story of Shvetaketu and King Jaivali from the Chandogya Upanishad and says, some of the best parts of Vedanta philosophy were not outcomes of meditations in seclusion, but of brains busy in thinking everyday affairs. Further citing the example of Sri Krishna's exposition of Srimad Bhagavadgita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Swamiji says, the doctrine which stands out luminously in every page of the Gita is intense activity, but in the midst of it, eternal calmness. This is the secret of work, to attain which is the goal of the Vedanta. Inactivity, as we understand it in the sense of passivity, certainly cannot be the goal. Were it so, then the walls around us would be the most intelligent. They are inactive. Clods of earth, stumps of trees would be the greatest sages in the world. They are inactive. Nor does inactivity become activity when it is combined with passion. Real activity, which is the goal of Vedanta, is combined with eternal calmness, the calmness which cannot be ruffled, the balance of mind which is never disturbed, whatever happens. Thus, Swamiji highlights that Vedanta wants intense activity combined with eternal calmness. Passionate mind ruins work as well as itself, while calm and peaceful mind does greatest amount of work without getting disturbed. Next, Swamiji takes up the point of practicality. He highlights that practicality and orthodoxy are used by people to stick to their accustomed way of thinking and living. Anything different from it is labeled as impractical and heterodoxy. One man's practical may be impractical for other and vice versa. Swamiji says, therefore, I will ask you to understand that Vedanta, though it is intensely practical, is always so in the sense of the ideal. It does not preach an impossible ideal, however high it be, and it is high enough for an ideal. In one word, this ideal is that you are divine. Thou art that. Our real nature is essentially immortal divine. This is an ever-present fact and not some theory or belief system. Swamiji now brings in the concept of sin and weakness associated with human nature. He says the Vedanta recognizes no sin. It only recognizes error. And the greatest error, says the Vedanta, is to say that you are weak, that you are a sinner, a miserable creature, and that you have no power and you cannot do this or that, this and that. Thus, purity is not to be gained, it is already ours, but the obstruction to its manifestation is to be removed. The actual should be raised to the ideal and not vice versa. We can't claim that we don't have time for practicing this, because compared to ancient monarchs who realize the truth despite shouldering heavy responsibility, we have plenty of free time. Thus, Swamiji points out that the realization of real self is practical if we are earnest. Here, Swamiji highlights the point that in Vedanta, all life is one, not just human life, but animal life, plant life, everything. He says, oneness includes all animals. If man's life is immortal, so also is the animals. The difference is only in degree and not in kind. The amoeba and I are the same. The difference is only in degree. And from the standpoint of the highest life, all these differences vanish. Further, he warns against reconciling the sense life with the ideal and also of habit of condemning or judging others. We should not reconcile our fleshly vanities with the highest ideal. At the same time, condemning others for their apparent failings is totally wrong. All are but trying to reach the ideal in their own way. Swamiji says, condemn none. If you can stretch out a helping hand, do so. If you cannot, fold your hands, bless your brother, and let them go their own way. Dragging down and condemning is not the way to work. Never is work accomplished in that way. Swamiji says that a human being may have weakness, but harping on it is not the solution. Instead, strength should be given. He says, he is the atheist who does not believe in himself. Do not make the path more difficult for those who are coming after you. Know the truth, practice it, and proclaim it. About inculcating the faith in ourselves, Swamiji says, the ideal of faith in ourselves is of the greatest help to us. If faith in ourselves had been more extensively taught and practiced, I am sure a very large portion of the evils and miseries that we have would have vanished. And also he says, hear day and night that you are that soul. Repeat it to yourself day and night till it enters into your very veins, till it tingles in every drop of blood, till it is in your flesh and bone. Let the whole body be full of that one ideal. I am the birthless, the deathless, the blissful, the omniscient, the omnipotent, ever glorious soul. Think on it day and night. Think on it till it becomes part and parcel of your life. Meditate upon it, and out of that will come work. Out of the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaketh, and out of the fullness of the heart, the hand worketh also. Action will come. Fill yourself with the idea. Whatever you do, think well on it. All your actions will be magnified, transformed, deified by the very power of the thought. If matter is powerful, thought is omnipotent. Bring this thought to bear upon your life. Fill yourself with the thought of your almightiness, your majesty, and your glory. Then Swamiji further emphasizes the need to teach the strength derived from the real self of human being and how ideas of weakness and sin have produced adverse effects. He says, all this manifoldness is the manifestation of that one. That one is manifesting himself as many, as matter, spirit, mind, thought, and everything else. It is that one manifesting himself as many. Therefore, the first step for us to take is to teach the truth to ourselves and to others. Let the world resound with this ideal and let superstitions vanish. In short, everything is existing upon and known through the self. I is known to all and it is infinite self, but it appears and is taken as fictitious limited I. In Swamiji's words, the God of Vedanta is the most known of all and is not the outcome of imagination. If this is not preaching a practical God, how else could you teach a practical God? Where is there a more practical God than He whom I see before me, a God omnipresent in every being, more real than our senses? We need to understand the ideal intellectually first. Though intellect is only the street cleaner, it can clear the way, but it can't move ahead and take us to the goal. It is the feeling, love, which takes us to God. Swamiji says, our prophet soul is the proof of there, that is Christ Buddha, prophet soul. Your Godhead is the proof of God Himself. If you are not a prophet, there never has been anything true of God. If you are not God, there never was any God and never will be. This, says the Vedanta, is the ideal to follow. To say we and others are weak is sin. Thanks for watching. Om Arunachala Shiva. Om Tat Sat.